Welcome to the Verdin Sports Show. I'm your host, Jacob Verdin. I got my guy G Sports with me. G, what's up, man?
What it do?
Got an interesting day today. First off, before we get going, shout out Big Tuka, Mason Smith. Happy birthday. Come on, man. Had to give some credit to the big guy, Big Tuka, on his birthday. Got some interesting things for you today. Brian Kelly gave an injury report for LSU. We'll talk a little bit about South Carolina. Got a fresh AP poll. The coaching carousel started pretty early, G. Got a lot of topics here. Anything on the top of your mind that you want to talk about before we jump right into what we call the water?
Let's go. Let's jump into it.
Straight off into the deep end, man. That's how I like it. Injury report. All right. So we kind of talked about it a little bit after Saturday's victory versus South Carolina. You had Bernard Gooden. He's got a bruised collarbone. No break. Good news. He should be able to keep it rolling this week. Jamari Butler had an ankle sprain, more on the lighter side. Garrett Nussmeier with an ankle sprain as well. I'm going to say a brief note on that one. I feel like we've seen Nussmeier limping since Ole Miss. I feel like even during the read options or the runs that he was doing, he's getting up and he's just wobbling off the field, wobbling off the field. Everybody keeps talking about a torso injury. I've been wondering the whole time on if there was more things. So that's kind of an enlightening moment, at least for me. Aaron Anderson, Brian Kelly says, is coming along positively. Caden Durham has a hip pointer. He's going to be good. And then Braylon Moore with a stinger. It's a lot of names on the report, but there's nothing big. There's nothing substantial. There's nobody that's clearly out. There's nobody that's battling a major injury. What's your reaction to some of these names and how you're feeling at this point of the year?
That's what comes with the territory when you going into week 6 of the football season and you playing against SEC competition, bro. You're gonna have little knick-knack injuries and things that guys are dealing with. Nobody is walking around 100% healthy at this time of the year.
Yep.
So, but like you said, it's a good thing it's nothing too serious. The only thing they really had to deal with far as a serious injury is Gabe Rutledge being out for the year.
Yep.
So kudos to that, and I think they should be at full strength against Vandy on Saturday.
Which is good because you're going to need everybody. It's also one of the comments earlier on the post of Brian Kelly giving the report, and they're like, man, Caden Durham always seems like he's hurt. Bro, that's life of a running back, though. You got to think, what if he getting 16 carries a game, G? There's only going to be maybe one or two runs he doesn't get tackled on, being a
Yeah,
touchdown run. Every other run, bro, he getting hit once, maybe twice, shit, maybe three times in the middle of a pile getting pushed. I'll say this about Durham, though, because I saw that comment and it kind of made me feel funny. I'm like, bro, last year he playing through an injury every single game, and he's playing through an injury playing phenomenal. So, I mean, like, okay, cool, he might be hurt, but he's one of the only players I've seen really through recent years that can still be a huge, huge, huge factor to the offense, whether he's hurt or not. 100% Caden Durham, 70% Caden Durham, all of the different percentages I think I've been putting in numbers. I feel like it's just one of those testaments to the type of player you got in him. I mean, yeah, he's a freshman last season, hits the ground running, but this year, and then quite frankly through next year, I feel like he's going to be a key piece to the offense that if he's going, you're doing good. If he's not doing good, you're kind of struggling. That's been the theme of the offense lately. I want to segue into this, though. Keeping it offensive related, talking about Nussmeier limping. Brian Kelly doubled down and he agreed with what you said. You saw G, the eye in the sky, the safety and the RPO in the red zone. Nussmeier was supposed to, quite frankly, not only just pay attention, but he's accountable for that man. There was supposed to be a different decision, obviously, on that play. He throws the ball anyway. That safety now intercepts the football. And that's one of the 3 times you're on the 1 yard line. You're not coming away with any points. Do you think moments like that are going to affect his draft stock? And also, I want to add a little bit of context here. Brian Kelly was saying, look, we're over the hump of him throwing the football and having difficulties with that, with the injuries, yada, yada, yada. He's got to clean up the little things. But with things like that happening, like, do you think that's something you can even clean up? Because sometimes it makes me wonder, like, are we just set in stone with this? Is this something you will work on? Because you're halfway through the final season. So it's kind of making me wonder.
I thought we was way past the what the fuck interceptions from Nussmeier. I really thought we was past that. I thought he had evolved from that. Obviously, he hasn't. I could take the interception he threw over the middle to Kyle Parker.
Yep.
The ball kind of sailed on him. I could deal with that. The interceptions in the red zone when you don't even see the safety, or maybe you did and you thought you could fit it in there, that's unacceptable, dog.
Yep.
That's unacceptable. And when you see him still making them kind of decisions, it just make you wonder what you gonna do on the road against Vandy this weekend when the crowd is hostile and it's loud and it's hard for you to communicate with your old linemen and your receivers. What you gonna do when y'all get to Tuscaloosa? What you gonna do when you go to Norman, Oklahoma, the last game of the season? See, at home, the defense could save you. At home, you got the home field advantage. But when you're on the road, bro, you make them kind of decisions that could come back to bite you. And I just don't think that Nuss is. I don't think he has evolved from that, bro. I think that's just who he is, and he's a high risk, high reward kind of quarterback. As far as the NFL concerned, I think he has tremendously hurt his draft stock. Right now, from the different scouts I've been talking to at the LSU games, I haven't heard anyone say he's a first round pick. Don't shoot the messenger. I'm just
Right.
telling you what NFL scouts that I'm talking to in the press box, talking to pregame on the field, just asking them different questions about different guys on the team. And I didn't have not one say that they think Nussmeier is a first round pick from what he's shown thus far this season.
And a lot of I'll be devil's advocate here because I've been worrying about that as well. Like, if you had to make me off the cuff give you a grade, I'd imagine third round, fourth round, right around that section. But a lot of people are going to point towards the offensive line. And it's not, here's what I want to say about this. Like, there's moments I feel like where you can say, okay, cool, yeah, he's getting pressured. He's off of his spot. He's got to move around. But there's also moments where it's like, dog, there is no pressure. That's clearly a bad throw. That's clearly somewhere you're not supposed to be looking. To the Kyle Parker point, yeah, it's 2-3 inches over, barely missed. But to the RPO and the safety point, bro, that happened within 2 seconds. There's nobody pushing him around. There's nobody getting any pressure. And I want to double down also. Let's talk about the offensive line and what Brian Kelly said. We're all making mentions of Weston Davis, the struggles, the right tackle spot being a clear weakness. That's where Dylan Stewart was making most of his presence felt on Saturday. I want to ask you two questions. Do you think Dylan Stewart playing Weston Davis and playing this offensive line will be a benefit to them down the road? Okay, now we got a big test out the way. Now we probably won't have to face someone like this again. The worst of it is behind us, hypothetically. And then Brian Kelly comes out and says, Weston Davis is our right tackle. We're not benching him. He's got a big, bright future. We want to keep him out there and we want to develop him. Do you think that that's a smart decision? And like I said, do you think the Dylan Stewart test will help forge this offense a little bit?
Brian Kelly coming out and saying that they're not benching him and he has a lot of potential and if his future is bright, I don't disagree with that. I would have to be around Weston on a consistent basis throughout practice, throughout the course of a game, watching film with him, seeing how his thought process is going, for me to be able to say, okay, I'm gonna ride him out for the rest of the season so he can keep on developing. Right? I don't really know Weston Davis's mental makeup, and so when you put it in that perspective, it's hard for me to sit here and say I would bench him and put the other freshman in Carriers Kern, right? I just don't know if I will make that call. Now, if I'm looking at Weston Davis and I'm saying, man, he's mentally tough, he's taking the coaching, he's taking accountability, he understands what he's doing wrong, I probably would ride him out the rest of the year because it's only going to help you not only going forward the rest of the season, but going into next year. We got to remember he's only a redshirt freshman. So and look, he's a very large human and he has a ton of upside, but he still has a ways to go when you talk about being an anchor on the offensive line at a school like LSU.
Yep, I agree too. What do you think about the Dylan Stewart point? You think that is that going to be one of those moments that Brad Davis can keep pointing back to in the film room? Like, dog, look, this is what y'all against.
Bro, if Dylan Stewart was draft eligible this year, he'd probably be a first round pick. Like he that good. He's an elite player. He plays the run good. He's an exceptional pass rusher. Bro, he's super twitchy, explosive. Like he got the total package. When they play Bama, you got guys like Overton, who's one of the better DNs in the country. He's gonna probably be lined up against Weston Davis. People gonna try to take and duplicate what South Carolina did to Weston Davis. So this ain't gonna be something that people gonna shy away from. They gonna watch the film and say, look, we're gonna put our best pass rusher on that side. And look, to LSU's point, they tried to bring Bauer Sharp, like I talked about before the game on Saturday. I say they probably gonna use Bauer Sharp and bring him over to the Western side to help chip and slow down the pass rush from Dylan Stewart. But he gave Bauer Sharp all you can handle too.
Yep.
If you look on the play on the goal line, he shoots the gap. Weston Davis never got a hand on him. Bauer Sharp steps up to try to take the block on, and he ran through him like a piece of paper. Like, you don't have too many DNs around the country that's going to do that. Now, the DN from Oklahoma, 32. Forget his last name. He's a really, really good player. Really good player. He gave Emory Jones problems last year. So, LSU fans better expect that going forward, they're going to take their best pass rusher and put them against Weston Davis.
I'm looking at the roster. Or Mason Thomas. Yeah.
Mason Thomas. Yes. He's going to be the next elite pass rusher he faces. Right? Overton's really good. I don't think he's better than Mason Thomas, though.
Another point that I kind of want to pay a little bit of attention to. I don't know exactly the total, so forgive me. I think it's around 160 yards rushing on Saturday, around 5 yards per carry. You got to kind of hang your hat on that one as well because, it was a tough defensive front. You had to get out of your comfort zone a little bit, if you will. And I've seen also, and look, I'm not trying to say that the comment section is where you should be paying attention to because it really shouldn't be. It's like kind of the opposite. But I've seen people still complaining about Joe Sloan. Dog, that might have been one of the best games that he called. To your point, should have had almost 40 points. He's not out there fumbling. He's not out there dropping. He's not out there throwing picks. I mean, man, we being uber critical in a situation where it's like, I don't know if this is the guy I'm going to blame, bro. Like, it don't seem like that to me. Does the offense need to raise its level of play, be a little more consistent, match the energy of the defense? Yeah, of course, right? But in this instance, I think it's just one of those growing pain games, quite frankly. You could turn the corner. You're going to have a rough patch, though. We're going to get into that. Let's talk about these AP poll rankings. If you look at this right now, as it's sliced in week 8G, this is the upcoming schedule for the Tigers. Number 17, Vandy. Number 4, Texas A&M. Number 6, Alabama. And number 14, Oklahoma. That's rough because if you lose 2 of those games, you got 3 losses. And now you're clinging on to college football playoff hopes. Now you're hoping somebody else loses. Like it's not in your hands at that point, is what I'm trying to say. If you look at the way the SEC's ranked, the top 5 would be 1 A&M, 2 Ole Miss, 3 Bama, 4 Georgia, 5 LSU. I'd guess 3 SEC teams get in, the 2 teams that compete for the conference championship. Probably 1 on the fringe outsider. I'm starting to worry, is LSU going to be at that point? You think it's too early to worry about this, especially with the schedule that we got ahead? What's your takeaways here?
Yeah, LSU going to have nothing but opportunities coming up forward. Vandy, Texas A&M, Bama, let's just say they go 3-0. They probably be in the top 3, top 4 after that's all said and done. Because I would anticipate that Ole Miss will lose at least 1 game in the next 3 weeks. I would anticipate that A&M being one of those games, they'll have a loss, and Bama might have a loss. So I can see LSU getting into that top 4, top 5.
How many SEC teams do you think make the playoffs at this point? 4? Because I think 3 made it last year.
Let me go. Let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, I'll go. I think it's safe to say 4 again.
Okay.
Possibly 5. Possibly 5 if Texas run the table.
Yeah, that's the odd man out right there, Texas. And they I feel like because they were at number 1 in the preseason. They drop out. They play Oklahoma. Now they get back in. It's weird to me to kind of think about a 2-loss team at this point running the table and getting it in, but it don't seem impossible. Notre Dame's another good example of that being a 2-loss team. I want to talk about Indiana real quick at number 3 because I've seen some people giving some scrutiny to Indiana. Bro, Indiana's a stepper. Signetti is the truth. I ain't lying. He said, Google me, all this stuff here, bro. If you Google him right now, you'll see they are the number 3 team in the country, undefeated, went into Alton, went into Oregon, got the victory on the back of Mendoza. I ain't lying. That could be a Big Ten threat right there. How you feeling at this point about Indiana and the Hoosiers?
Really good team. They're very, very scrappy. I like the kid Fernando Mendoza. When you look at a team like Indiana to go into Eugene, Oregon, on the road in a hostile environment like that and play a top-tier opponent and come out victorious, you got to take them serious, bro. Yep. Anybody that's saying Indiana not legit, I don't know what you watching. Dante Moore was playing some of the best football in the country at quarterback. And he turned the ball over twice. He didn't look like himself. They did a good job of harassing him and getting him off his spots, getting pressure on him, making him make bad decisions. I was super impressed with how Indiana played, dog. And I think the only team that probably can give him some threat is Ohio State in that conference. And that
do they play soon? I don't know. I don't
I
even
don't
know.
know. I know they play. I don't know when they play.
Let's hit the Google machine real quick. Let's jump in the portal. Indiana versus Ohio State on the schedule. The Big Ten is an interesting conference, especially coming off 2 years in a row winning the Natty. How about Michigan? How you feeling about Michigan? What they did versus USC, man?
Piss down their leg.
What's the take on Bryce Underwood? Some people are criticizing him, bro. There's a screenshot of him smiling and everybody pissed off, bro. What, you can't smile no more?
Yeah, I mean he a true freshman, bro. You see the flashes, you see the ability. He gonna be really really good when it's all said and done. He going through them growing pains right now. And to his defense, Michigan just don't have the playmakers at the receiver position, dog. They just don't. The running back Justice Haynes, he's really really good, and they got a good offensive line. But at the receiver position, dog, they got to get better. They got to get better. They don't have a typical Michigan tight end, a kid Klein, number 17. That's their starting tight end, good player. But that's not the tight end that we used to having at Michigan. We used to having a real vertical threat, a guy that could, catch the ball in space, make plays. Klein's not that kind of tight end. So I just think that they got to get more playmakers around Bryce Underwood if they want to be a legit contender in the future.
Got to hit up Larry Ellison. Hey, I'm looking at Indiana's schedule. They don't play Ohio State. The toughest game that they
Wow.
have left is Penn State, and we know how that's going to wind up going, bro. I'll read you the rest of their schedule, and every single team is not in the top 25. Michigan State, UCLA, Maryland, Penn State, Wisconsin, and Purdue. Hey, this
They
is going to
shouldn't
be
lose
an
a game.
undefeated team. I agree. This is
They
going to be an
shouldn't lose
undefeated
again. They're
team.
gonna be favored in all them games. Nah, it's
100%.
still conference games, so you just can't take nobody lightly. But bro, if they play like they're supposed to play, and they play like they played against Oregon, they should run the table.
I think so. Google him, bro. He was right. He wasn't cap. Let's talk about James Franklin. We brought up Penn State saying, oh, I know how that's going to go. Let's give you some context as to why. He got the boot, G. Simply put, coaching carousel, it's starting. You got it in the NFL. You got it in the NCAA. You got all kind of rumors. This one ain't a rumor. This one's concrete as concrete can get. $49 million buyout after 12 years with Penn State. It's over with. They grew restless after a rough patch, if you will. I mean, you lose against Oregon. And at that point, G, you are hosting College Game Day as the number 3 team in the country, fresh off of a playoff run last year where you get 2 wins. You're so close to a national title appearance. You obviously lose to Notre Dame in the Orange Bowl. But my point is that it changed like this for my guy. There's a lot of outside noise. There's a lot of rumors. There's a lot of things that people are bringing up. I want to pick your mind about a lot of them. Here's one of the first rumors. I want your reaction to this. People are saying that Adidas was pressing on some heat, talking about, oh, $49 million. We'll help you come up with that. Oh, you're
But
gonna
I thought Penn State was a Nike school.
I don't know. Let's look it up. Penn State Adidas apparel.
I seen that, but I'm trying to. If I'm not mistaken, Penn State a Nike school.
Let's double down, man. Let's figure it out. Yeah, I see a picture of James Franklin with a Nike check. And I wanted to bring this up to you as well. I don't understand how you gonna have, and I get boosters and all this stuff, but how could you have a corporation like that just come in and write a check, bro? Like that seems like the slipperiest of slopes that I would ever have heard in college football. But I'm glad you brought that up. That's the investigative journalism that G is here for. How the hell D is gonna get in here and try to Larry
That's what
Ellis?
I'm trying to figure out. What's going on?
Nah, good point. So we're gonna blow smoke out of that one right there. G, good eye. Then I want to ask you about this. Got every name under the sun. And that's how it goes with a coaching search like this. We're going to hear Nick Saban. We're going to hear Brian Kelly. We're hearing Cignetti. But who's their serious options? I mean, I did a little bit of research. Matt Rule was an alumni. He's at Nebraska. They're 5-1 right now. He had a rough patch of 2 seasons prior, though. They had like 6 losses back-to-back years at Nebraska. So, I mean, I don't know. The question I'm asking is, how do you find somebody that's going to be capable of bringing Penn State to the national title? Because James Franklin wasn't a bad coach. James Franklin didn't have a bad thing going. They had a lot of success through the past 3 years. It's tough because the ranked record versus top 10 teams in the Big Ten is like 1-18. So that's what everybody's going to remember. The big games. Can you get it done? The last bad taste in your mouth against Oregon. You lose to UCLA. Then this weekend you lose to Northwestern, and everybody was like, nah, just get it out. Just get it out. But is that the right decision? Because like I said earlier, you're going to have to buy a new coach, buy a new staff, pay him the $49 million, which if you do the math, he's making like $900 an hour, bro. Like, how do you balance this, and how is this the right decision? Like, I don't know. I hate buying out coaches at this point because it seems to me like you're throwing so much damn money away. But I could just be a cheapskate.
$49 million for me to go sit at home and chill with my family.
Well,
I'll take it. I'm in the wrong business.
Yeah. Damn, bro.
I'm in the
Oh,
wrong damn business. I think there's a mistake, bro. The dude coming off a 13 win, 11 win, and a 10 win season over the last 3 years, bro. Playoff berths. They're always in the mix to compete for a national championship. What the hell are they doing in Happy Valley? I There's no way you can make this make sense, bro. There's no way. I saw the names on the list. I'm gonna tell you a name on that list that I think that probably could be a good fit. Dan Mullen. You know, he
okay.
coached at Florida, won 2 national championships as an offensive coordinator under Urban Meyer. Then he left him with the Mississippi State, resurrected that career, had made Dak Prescott who he was at that time, and got him drafted. And the rest is history with his career. Then he leaves Mississippi State, goes back to Florida, which I didn't think he did a bad job at Florida. I really didn't. I mean, of course, Florida fans are very unrealistic, and they thought he should have been in a national championship contention year in and year out, but it just didn't happen like that. He leaves there, does TV for I think 2 years, and now he's at UNLV. I want to say UNLV has 1 loss this year. He's doing a good job with that program. I think he would go to Penn State and do wonders there. So I think that would be my number one candidate if I'm Penn State. You know what I mean? I see Manny Diaz. I don't like that. John Gruden. I don't like it. Fran Brown. That's the guy at Syracuse. I don't know if Fran Brown would be a good fit. Kurt Signetti, that would be a good fit as well. He know the conference already,
Yep.
right? He used to that area of recruiting because he was at James Madison. But why would you leave Indiana? You got this thing rolling. You got the people
I
backing
agree.
you with the NIL. So that wouldn't make sense. Matt Campbell, that's the head coach at Iowa State. Now, I think that'll be a good hire. Matt Rule, I don't know about Matt Rule. I'm on the fence about Matt Rule. Joe Brady, I don't know about Joe Brady. I don't know. Good
The
play caller. Good play caller. But Josh Heupel, I don't know why Josh Heupel would leave Tennessee for Penn State. Just
Yeah.
wouldn't make sense to me. Kenny Dillingham, that's the guy at Arizona State. Arizona State, he's gonna be looked at as a guy if he stay there. You know, it's not as much pressure. You go to Penn State, it's a different type of pressure. Same thing we were talking about with Lane Kiffin leaving Ole Miss to go to Florida.
Mhm.
Sometimes, like, it just don't make sense, especially with the times we living in. It's not like it was 10, 15 years ago where if you at Ole Miss, you gotta go to Florida so you could get the good players and be able to compete for a national championship. It's not like that anymore.
Nope.
So I think Kenny Dillingham would do better just staying at Arizona State, especially in that conference, right? You're in the Pac-12. All you got to do is worry about what USC and
Well, USC in the Big Ten now. They bro, that it's
I'm sorry,
Utah
you're right.
because
These conference
they in the
alignments
Big,
just got me all messed up.
yeah,
So in
it's
the
like
Pac-12, you got to worry about what UCLA in the Big Ten.
no, yeah, they in the Big 12, so they worrying about like Utah, they worrying about Oklahoma State, like them.
Yeah, bro. If
Bro.
I'm Kenny Dillingham, I'm not even thinking about going to that conference. I'm
Yeah,
not. I'm
Texas
chilling.
Tech. That's it.
Yeah.
And then to you about Dan Mullen, bro, they 6-0 and they beat
Oh,
UCLA. You beat UCLA 30-23. That's a good win. I ain't even
yeah,
gonna lie. Bro, they just
yeah,
hang 51 last week. And then this week upcoming, they got Boise State at 2:30. Look, if you get
yeah.
that win, go 7-0. Dan Mullen is a name for a
I'm
couple of
telling
jobs.
you that would be my number one candidate if I'm Penn State.
I like that one. That's a sneaky one right there.
I
I
don't
want to
know
ask
who
you
is
this too.
Alex Golish is. Who is that?
I don't know. Let's look it up. Yeah, I never heard of that one. What you think about Drinkwitz from Mizzou?
Uh
Oh, he the head coach at USF, Alex Golish.
oh, at South Florida.
Yeah. Hey,
Okay.
that's not
Okay.
bad.
I gotta he hasn't I mean this year they've been pretty good, but is it a
Short
one hit
lived.
wonder? I don't know.
You don't know. You don't know. You want to send him out there to Penn State and get fried
Yeah,
up in the grease, bro. You
yeah,
think James
yeah.
Franklin gets another job? Because I feel like, bro, this was so premature. Is he got juice left in him, but he got all that money. So does he want to coach? Does he like Coach Osborne go take some vacations?
I believe that it's something more than just the wins and losses at Penn State for him to get fired, bro. Like this don't make no sense.
I agree.
This got to be one of the most foolish fires I've seen in college football in a long time. You find dog. Did you hear what I just said? This man coming off a 13 win, an 11 win, and a 10 win season, and got to the playoffs the last couple years, was in the semifinals, and y'all fired this man. Can't wrap
Bro,
my head around it.
if you asked me on the last 2 drives of that game, Notre Dame and Penn State, if Penn State's going to the national championship, I couldn't even shoot you straight. I couldn't give you a good answer. There's a few minutes hanging in the balance, and they are almost getting to what is the toughest thing to do in college football. Obviously win it, but just even be one of the final 2 teams that are competing for the damn national championship. There's not a lot of people that are going to be able to get you to that point. And when I saw that they got rid of him, now my first thought is, it's only going to get worse. Like we're talking about, oh, well, he's not winning big games. Bro, he won 2 big games last year in the playoffs. Those are the biggest games, G. Like the regular season games, all right, cool. Yeah, I get it. There's rankings, the AP's voting on all this stuff and telling you that these are big games and big teams. G, you don't got to tell me that a playoff game is a big game, bro. This is it. This is what you're playing for. Finally.
That's why it further lets me know that it's something bigger than the wins and losses. Him losing to Northwestern and him losing to UCLA, that was just a reason for them to say, all right, we can fire him over this. But I bet you it's something bigger than that. It's probably him and the AD probably didn't get along. Mm-hmm. You just never know what's going on behind the scenes, bro, because this fire just makes no sense to me. This fire, it just don't.
Got me scratching my head, man. I ain't gonna lie. Before we hop out of here, I want to ask you about this. New Orleans Saints played the Patriots. My guy, Kayshon Boutte, came home in the dome and went brazy. 90-plus yards, 2 touchdowns, caught every single target thrown his way. What was your reaction to the Saints and Pats? Because, look, the Pats are a nice team, and the Saints kept it competitive. This was another one of those moments where it's like you can't be too mad. You gotta at least be like a little positive. What's your thoughts?
First of all, I think Mike Vrabel is doing a phenomenal job with the New England Patriots. Bro, they don't have a lot of talent on that team, though.
And they're making this shit work.
Bro, look at these receivers.
Mario Douglas, baby.
Mario Douglas, Mac Hollins, not Stephon Diggs, yeah. Hunter Henry, solid. Travion Henderson, that's the rookie from Ohio State. Yeah. Bro, they don't have a ton of talent on this team, bro. Like Drake May is overachieving.
Mm-hmm.
They defense solid. I think he's doing a great job, bro. And shout out to Kayshon Boutte, man. I'm glad he's starting to figure it out in the league. I know a lot of LSU fans give him a lot of flack by how his career ended, especially when he started wearing number 7. But he could have tucked his tail, bro, and made excuses and not keep developing. But this guy has been taking it personal, bro. This season alone, I've seen the growth in him.
Yep.
And I think that's a testament to his hard work, bro, and staying locked in, bro. So I'm glad to see him be able to come home in the dome in front of his family and friends and be able to put on a show like that, because he put on a show.
I agree. Yeah, and then even in the interviews after in the locker room, you could hear him very mature, very humble. It's like he definitely learned and grew from this.
Oh yeah, because he was all the way at the bottom. He was, when he was at LSU after that sophomore year, he was at the pinnacle, right? He was feeling really good about himself. Then he came back that next year when he wore number 7, and it didn't go so well. And I think that was a crucial time in his life because he was able to sit back and reset himself. And now you see him getting the fruits of his labor, bro. So shout out to Kayshon Boutte, man. I hope he keep on doing this thing. Shout out to Will Campbell, man.
You know what our guy Meek Robinson says, man? You can't bury what come from the dirt, big dog. Can't bury what come from the dirt. I had something pop in my head that I want to ask you real quick. One more minute from you. Kirby Smart. Did you see this? The clapping. It's not a timeout. I'm not calling a timeout. Come on, man. React to that. Because everybody's saying bullshit. It was a timeout. He's saying, no, I'm telling you, they were clapping. They're clapping. We lost the game because of that in the stadium. That was his excuse.
I didn't see that.
So he's running down the sideline, trying to stop them. He literally, bro, running like this with his hand. And his mouth is mouthing timeout, according to the Twitter lip reading officials, the experts. Of course, there's always a lot of them. But Kirby Smart's alibi was saying that he was yelling at them, saying that they were clapping with the snap infraction because Auburn's defense safety was sitting here like this. He's running down the sideline, bro. It looks like he's hitting timeout. And everybody's saying it's blatantly obvious, all this stuff.
So he didn't get the timeout.
They gave it back to him. They said that he was calling one. He was arguing, saying, no, I didn't mean to call one. I didn't mean to call it. And they're like, oh, no timeout. All right. And they let him go back on it.
Wow. That's what Hugh Freeze is talking about in the press conference.
Hugh Freeze was livid, bro.
Yeah. And then, they messed over Auburn right before the half when they said he didn't break the plane.
Refs.
There's 2 games this year that Auburn got screwed with some calls, bro. I ain't gonna lie to you.
What was the walk-off? Was it against A&M or Oklahoma? What was that one? When they were walking off the field and it was like some type of penalty where he was faking like he's going illegal sub and then he run down.
I think it might have been A&M. It was A&M.
Yeah, bro. Auburn getting the rough end of the barrel. And they're not even got a bad squad, bro. But it's just like you were saying in the text, man, they can't finish at the end. They just like they get right to the end and then they fall flat on their face. We got our guy Blanche in the chat asking, why isn't Kyle Parker a full-time starter? If you want my opinion, you got so many damn names in here. It's like a week-by-week basis of who you putting out and who you throwing out in the rotation. Kyle Parker's
Aaron
such a
Anderson.
good dude. Aaron Anderson, phenomenal. And then this is what happened in my head. And I'm going to let you respond after. Last year, I feel like Kyle Parker was in that spot, primed to be a huge rotational player, has a tricep tear. Aaron Anderson rolls out in his spot, leads the team in receiving yards, eats up, and then how do you run away from the hot hand? Like the way Frank Wilson and Cortez Hankton and all these offensive minds on LSU act in terms of we're not just going to knuckle down and throw you out there because you're a numbered guy, number 1, number 2, number 3, whatever. If you hot, if you're producing, if you're doing stuff for me lately, I feel like they get an opportunity. And I think Kyle Parker will continue to get used. It's hard to say that he wouldn't. Look at what he did. But what's your thoughts?
It's the land opportunity, bro. Last year against USC, Kyle Parker was starting. And he got hurt. Aaron Anderson comes into the games. I want to say he scores a touchdown and catches for like 70-some yards, made some explosive plays, and he just never looked back. And ever since then, Aaron Anderson has inserted himself as one of the best receivers in their room. Coming into this year, they play the same position, even though Kyle can play different positions, but he mainly is a Z. And that's Aaron Anderson's position. And so when Aaron not playing on this past Saturday against South Carolina, it opened up an opportunity for Kyle Parker, and he made the most of it. But you got to know going forward, when Aaron Anderson is healthy, that's going to be his spot. You know, I do think Kyle Parker probably should get some more touches and some more snaps. But who you going to take out the lineup? You going to take out Xavier Thomas? You going to take out Barrion Brown? You going to take out Nick Anderson? I mean,
it's tough. It's a lot of miles in the room, bro. A lot of miles. Everybody want to get fed, but sometimes you're going to have to cut it up and make it last. A little bit of a ration, if you will. I think LSU, that's a good problem to have, dog. If you got a lot of talent, you got a lot of people, you don't know who to throw out there, or you got too many names. Hey, bro, better than not having enough. All about the Jimmies and the damn Joes. That's what we saying. Not about X's and O's, but about Jimmies and Joes, bro.
And I will say this. Joe Sloan must be listening to what we be saying on the podcast because he have been trying to get Nick Anderson involved in that offense. They just ain't been executing it.
Shout out Coach Sloan, man. Hey, big frame, big guy. Throwing up there. I know a big frame that been eating and been cutting up. Mr. 14, Trades Green, bro. He got to be the best target. Next year, I'll say a hot take. That probably ain't even that hot. That man could be a top 5 pick, bro. If he does this shit all season and then does it again all year next year, dog, who in their right mind is passing up on Megatron Jr.? Like, what? What are we talking about, man?
He a problem, dog. He a problem.
Unguardable.
That's why I'm saying if they could ever get Nick Anderson going to go along with Trades Green, with Aaron and Barrion and Xavier and Bauer Sharp, man, this could be a hell of an offense, bro. That got nothing but weapons all over the place, bro. It just it's sad to see that it's not manifesting on Saturdays, bro. It's hard to watch.
If you add 2 pieces to this offense, these 2 names that were underappreciated through the last few years, bro, if you add Josh Williams and Mason Taylor to this team, money. Now you got that tough running, and then Mason Taylor's that other option on the other side of Trades Green, and then you really going to spread them out wide. You don't even need doubles at that point. You got triples, dog. You got Power, you got Trades, you got Mason. If you got Nick active, you could throw him out there, bro. You going to make defensive coordinators sweat all week long. Appreciate everybody for tuning in this stream, man. We about to hop out of here, be live on Wednesday again. It's Power Ranking Time Wednesday. We're going to do a prediction. We're going to tell you how we feel about LSU Vandy. Make sure you tap.
Man, why you ain't put my record up here, man?
Man, we doing it Wednesday, bro. Chill. We're gonna let the people wait. We're gonna let the people wait, G. Come on. Why are you trying to spoil it, bro? Why are you trying to spoil the situation? I don't know what G talking about. Everybody, I don't know, man. He catching me off guard, bro. We're gonna have to sit on this one. Appreciate y'all time. Thank you, G. Hit that thumbs up on the way out. Y'all enjoy your Monday the best way that you can.